welcome you to my tutorials for the second semester 2025 academic year. Before I continue, I want to advise you to subscribe to this channel because in the subsequent uploads, I may not send the links to you. When you subscribe, you can get them automatically when they are uploaded. If you can remember, in the second semester, I started teaching the topics from dangling modifiers to misplaced modifiers and so on and so forth. That basically falls under grammar for the second semester. So I want to follow the same sequence in doing the tutorials for you. We have done these things already, but I think that going through this way will help you to be able to refresh your mind on some of the things that we did in the semester. So dangling modifiers, misplaced modifiers. Dangling modifiers, we said, they are misrelated constructions. In other words, they are in a sentence, all right, but then they do not relate to the items they are supposed to relate to. In other words, they fail to relate to a particular item in a sentence that they are expected to relate to or to modify. And most of the time, we said you see dangling modifiers in ing form or kind of perfective form. But one feature that is common with all such sentences is that they lack a subject. So in this tutorial, I would like to just go over with you briefly. Now, so see, dangling modifiers lack a subject. So what to do is to introduce a subject. The expressions that do not relate to any part of a sentence, therefore, they are hanging, they are dangling. But like I said earlier on, I prefer using the word unrelated to anything or misrelated to something. So they result in ambiguities. Ambiguities means that they made a sentence to be interpreted this way or that way, or so. An ambiguity simply means liable to more than one interpretation. So they are not grammatical. And then in examination, you may see sentences that are constructed, maybe A, B, C, D. And then they may ask you to identify the one which is not grammatical or the one which is not correct. So what you need to do there is for you to read through the sentences and find out the one which doesn't have the features of a correct sentence. Now, one important thing that you need to know for the examination is for you to read the instructions very well. Is the instruction saying one of these sentences is correct, or one of these sentences is not correct? If you fail to read the instructions well, you may answer the questions wrongly. Come out of the exam hall and be happy that you answered the questions, not only for you to come and only for you to realize that you misread the instructions. So note this: one of these is correct. One of these is not correct. If one is correct, that means there are three that are correct. If one is correct, if only one is correct, then three are incorrect. I repeat, probably I didn't say it well. If one is incorrect, the rest three are correct. And if one is correct, then the rest 3 are incorrect. So let's look at this particular one. One of the following is not correct. Walking down the path, the grasses shook. The grasses shook as I walked down the path. As I walked down the path, the grasses shook. Now, so if you look at the constructions here, A, B, C, D, walking down the path, the grasses shook. It doesn't have any subject. So you don't know who is walking down the path. But it's in B and C, you can see a subject. So in this case, if one is not correct, or is incorrect or not correct, then I think the answer should be E. Good. We continue with dangling modifiers. One of the following is correct. If one is correct, then 3 are wrong. The dam was seen sitting on the wall. Sitting on the wall, the dam was seen. When I sat on the wall, the dam was seen. When I sat on the wall, I saw the dam. Now, you can see clearly that the whole problem starts with A. The dam was seen sitting on the wall. This could even be interpreted as if the dam, you can see a dam located on the wall. Apart from that, there is no subject. So this is not correct. Sitting on the wall, the dam was seen is the same A which has been reversed, reconstructed so that the second part of the sentence comes to the front. Then C, when I sat on the wall, the dam was seen. This, in some cases, may be correct, but in the second part, the dam was seen by whom? Perhaps the answer D is clearer and maybe the clearest. Why? When I sat on the wall, I saw the dam. Now, so here we have the person who sits on the wall and the person who saw the dam. It's so clear. So if you are being asked to identify the one which is correct, then it should be D. You cannot have two answers for a question. Maybe so I will probably even say select the best answer. Now let's go to when we talk about dangling modifiers and misplaced modifiers, we added something called ambiguities. I think that I discussed this in most of the classes. But let's look at this. One of the following is not correct. He left the department while riding on his motorbike. He left the department while riding on his motorbike. He left the department on his motorbike. He drove away from the department on his motorbike. While riding his motorbike, he left the department. Now, among all these sentences, the one which can pose a problem as far as understanding is concerned should be B. Why? He left the department on his motorbike. It may sound as if this is correct, but it can create ambiguity. Look at it from this angle. If I tell you that I left my pen on a motorbike, you bring it to me. You probably go to the motorbike and see a pen on the surface of the motorbike or on the seat of the motorbike. So I left my pen on a motorbike. Bring it to me. So if I left my pen on a motorbike, suggest that an item was placed or located was placed on the motorbike, then he left the department on his motorbike could also mean that the department is an object that was left on the motorbike. That could be another one way to understand it, because when somebody reads a sentence, he has his own way to interpret it. And it is not you that is going to help the person to interpret it. That's how he understands it. So the purpose for removing ambiguities from a passage sentence is to make it clear. So see, A, he left the department while riding on his motorbike. I think it's clear. Let's go to C. He drove away from the department on his motorbike. This also doesn't pose a problem. While riding his motorbike or riding on his motorbike, he left the department. It's not a problem. So B should be the problem. He left the department on his motorbike, which is creating ambiguity. Sorry, an ambiguity in this particular case. So that is it. Let's look at an example. Is misplaced modifiers. Misplaced modifier. We saw this example in our discussion in class. The lady served food to the children on leaves. B, the lady served the children on leaves food. C, on leaves, the lady served food to children. D, the lady served food on leaves to the children. Now, number one, the lady served food to the children on leaves. We say that on leaves means that if you look at this, there are nouns here. Lady is a noun, food is a noun, children is a noun. But then a modifier or something that qualifies or describes children is on leaves, which follows immediately after leaves. Sorry, after children. In this case, on leaves means that the children were located or were probably sitting on leaves, I don't know. To the children on leave. The children were on leaves, they start on leaves or they were located on leaves at the time the woman served the food. Because if you see, for example, bring the book on the table, you probably have to go to the table, see the book which is on the table, and you pick it up. There could be other books in other places like under the table or on seats or so on and so forth. So when they say the lady serve food to the children on leaves modify the children. So probably if you go to whatever they ask the children are, you see them on leaves. Now, let's look at B. The lady served the children on leaves food. It's the same thing. You can see children here being followed by on leaves. So this is also the problem. C, on leaves, the lady served food to the children. In this case, it can even be interpreted that the lady who served the food was on leaves or maybe standing on leaves or something. Apart from that, this part of the sentence on leaves should have been marked off by a comma, which is absent here. So that even makes the sentence questionable. In other words, it's not correct. But let's look at this one, D. The lady served food on leaves to the children. So this number 4 means that the lady took leaves, dish out food on leaves, and then give it to the children. That is more natural. I think that should be the correct answer. He didn't serve the food on plates. He didn't serve the food in bowls. He served the food on leaves to the children. So if you are saying one of those is correct, then I think that it should be D. It's demanded of you to read the question very well, go through, and select the correct answer. You got to be fast in a way. You cannot spend a lot of time on one question as I'm doing because I'm teaching you, that's why. You got to be a bit faster than what I'm doing. Now let's look at this one again, ambiguities. So I'm discussing three things: dangling modifiers, misplaced modifiers, which lead to ambiguity. So the topic of ambiguity is included in some of this, is already incorporated into the discussion on dangling modifiers and misplaced modifiers. Okay, one of the following is not correct. Remove the curtain from the box and place the box under the table. We had this example in the class. In most classes, if I forget to discuss it in a particular class, I'm sorry, but you take the opportunity to listen to it and pick up the concept now. Remove the curtain from the box and place the box under the table. It's clear. There are two things there. Curtain in the box. Remove the curtain from the box and place the box under the table. Number two, or B, remove the curtain from the box and place the curtain under the table. It's also clear. C, after removing the curtain from the box, place the box under the table. It's clear. D, remove the curtain from the box and place it under the table. This one, we said in our discussion that the pronoun "it" there may refer to either the box or the curtain, and therefore it makes the sentence ambiguous. Remove the curtain from the box and place it under the table. Naturally, it will appear as though it's a curtain which is supposed to be placed on a table. But somebody can also argue that it could be the box. That is where the ambiguity or the confusion starts from. So if they are saying, if you see a question like this, so one is not correct. Basically, the demand of the question will be which of them is ambiguous. That is it. So in this particular case, it should be D. Now let's continue with ambiguities and talk about one of the following is correct. He left the department. I think we saw this example already. We saw this example already. So we don't need to repeat it. Then you will also see sentence fragments in this particular case, talking about grammar, because we are talking about dangling modifiers, misplaced modifiers, ambiguities, and even sentence fragments. Sentence fragments, which said that they are not complete, if you like. In other words, they are incomplete. They lack a particular feature, a feature that is supposed to be an important component of a good sentence or normal sentence or a correct sentence. These sentence fragments, they lack either one or two. That is why they are not complete. So another name for sentence fragment is incomplete sentences, if you like. So look at the following. I say one of the following is not complete. Best fly. Best fly is a complete sentence because you have best as subject and fly as verb. Is correct. Let's go to C. Go home. This one, we understand that the full form of this should have been you go home. Because in the imperative or the command type of question, you may not see the subject is implied. The subject is implied. So it's a complete sentence as it is. because it's a type of imperative, a command on order type of sentence. Then look at D. To the seminary, you must go. To the seminary, you must go. This is also complete because it is just inversion. They inverted it. What I mean is, you can reconstruct this by putting the second part of the sentence at the front. You must go to the seminary. Somebody can say, to the seminary, you must go. It's correct because we have a subject and verb there. Subject is what you, and then a verb must go with some complements. But if you look at B, the boy running across the road, it's not a complete sentence. So one, you may read a sentence and see that it doesn't make sense, or you think that there is something that I should have added to it to make sense. Then you know that that particular one is what incomplete. It's incomplete, and so that should be the odd one out. In that case, one thing that is very important is for you to read the instructions. Is the instruction saying one is correct or one is not correct? That is very important. Remember to subscribe to this channel because in the second upload, I may not send the link to you. I wish you well. Stay for the latest update.